Yeah, it is. And at this point now, there's less than 450 of us
Wow.
that are duly certified. So we call ourselves unicorns. That's kind of some little slang term that we all kind of use. And it's such a neat way to be able to help my clients. It kind of actually started in graduate school. I had we call it our student teaching experience here in Ohio, where I went to graduate school at Kent State. And I had a speech therapist who had a lot of students with pretty severe autism on her caseload in a public school program. And I just loved working with all the students, just like I do now. I'm a school based therapist too, so I see all different types of students. But I really loved working with all the students who had autism, who were either nonverbal, emerging communicators. Some of the students engaged in problem behavior that was a barrier to their learning. And I really loved working with students like that. And then once I became, my CFY year was actually in a regular public school. And then that public school had this major financial crisis. So I knew during my CFY year, as stressful as that was, that my job the next year was going to be completely eliminated because of this financial crisis. And so I went on to take a position with something called the Learner School, which is part of the Cleveland Clinic. And it was a non-public program for students with more significant needs. Most of the students were autistic. And so that is where I really started to feel passionate about helping students who were hard to help. So that's always just kind of been my jam. In every single place I've ever worked, I let that be known because I advocate, I disseminate, and I let people know that I'm really excited about helping students who maybe have never been able to communicate besides using their behavior across their day. And so there was one student who really kind of was an aha moment for me. Wasn't even my student, it was my colleague's student, but we all kind of shared a speech therapy office. And this particular student was 18 years old. He had transitioned to this non-public program from a public school, and he had no way to communicate besides engaging in unsafe problem behavior. And I felt so sad for this student. And then I felt really angry because nobody was able to help him for over 18 years. And my friend and colleague was able to use a TechSpeak, which is, I don't even know if that's still a device, but it was a static device. And he would press buttons and ask for taking a walk and things that he wanted and all those great things. And at 18, he was able to communicate. And so we did use applied behavior analysis, the science of applied behavior analysis at that time. That's where I first kind of learned about what a BCBA is. And so it was at that moment that I always said, oh, I want to just learn as much as I can about applied behavior analysis and how I can use the science to help students increase their communication skills and oftentimes just start communicating for the first time. And so that's really set me on this journey of my whole entire career of being able to help people understand that some students are hard to help and some students we're going to have to think outside of the box and learn new things to be able to help them. And so that's really kind of what lit a fire under me to make sure that I wanted to learn as much as I could about that. And so that next step really was to take courses, do my supervision. There's all these things you have to do, pass another exam. And then I became dually certified about 10 years ago. So yeah, that's kind of my story.